Hey everybody, I'm live. It's been so long since I've been live, but obviously NBA free agency started today. Well, actually, no, yesterday. Sorry. Yesterday. But we got to talk about some of the moves that happened because there was a lot of things that went on. I just posted a video about the Klay Thompson thing. So if you didn't watch that video, make sure you go watch it after this. But I want to do a live stream because there are so many moves that happened. It's hard to obviously talk about I can't make like a zillion videos, you know what I mean? Like there are a lot of moves. So I figure it's better to live stream so you guys can all see it all at once and we can, discuss all the things that were happening. Obviously Paul George, we gotta talk about that too. So we will get into all that. So I have the like a list, like an article that shows all the moves that happened. And so I'm just gonna go down by basically when they happen. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the most recent one because they do it in like order. So we're going to go through most, if not all, of the free agency deals that happened. So we're here. Okay. So I'm just looking down to see, this stuff. So the first one, the most recent one that just happened is Mobamba signs to the Clippers. I think that's a good deal for them because they did just lose Plumlee. He went to the Suns, which we'll talk about a little later. So I think that's good for them because they definitely needed a big man after losing, let's say after losing Mobamba, after losing Plumlee. So I do think that's a good pickup. It was a 1 year deal. I don't see the amount of money, but it was probably a minimum or something like that maybe. So he agreed to a 1 year deal. Chris Dunn to the Clippers as well. I actually like that pickup. Chris Dunn played pretty well in Utah last year. It's just Utah, although like they did have, they have some young players who are talented and a lot of teams want Laurie Markkinen, but they did kind of, go under the radar because they ended up making the playoffs. They kind of fell down in the standings. So Chris Dunn going to the Clippers, I really like that. Chris Dunn, what he was a lottery pick. I'm trying to remember what number he was. I'm pretty sure he was a lottery pick. And he definitely revitalized himself last year. So I think that's a good pickup for the Clippers as well because they are trying to move Russell Westbrook. That's what the reports are. So Chris Dunn can be a very good backup point guard. So I like that move for them. And it says that it was doesn't say. It doesn't say in the article what the contract was, but I'm sure I feel like maybe it was a 2 year deal. I don't remember. It wasn't anything like gigantic money, but yeah. Gary Harris resigns to the Magic. Honestly, it's not a bad deal for them. I think it was 2 year 14. Yeah, that's what it says. 2 year 14 is a pretty good deal. It's kind of funny, like people probably forgot that he was on Denver. Like it was their big three. It wasn't a big three at the time. So like even saying big three, people might get mad at me. But I'm just saying like their what was supposed to be their big three was Jamal Murray, Jokic, and Gary Harris. He was on that team. Like he was supposed to be their their shooting guard. Like he was supposed to be their guy. And so, now he's on the Magic, whatever, whatever. 2 year, 14 million, 7 million per year. I think that's a fine deal. Drew Smith re-signs with the Heat on a 2-way contract. Congratulations to him. Good for him. Garrett Temple re-signs with the Raptors. Good for him as well. Garrett Temple, he's just a good veteran. So like I like that for the Raptors because they have a very young team now. So he is someone who can teach young guys about the league. So I do like that for them. Colin Gillespie signed a 2-way contract with the Suns. Good for him. Goga Batadze re-signs with the Magic, a 3-year, $25 million contract. I actually forgot he was a free agent, to be honest. I think that's fine for the Magic. They picked up KCP, so we'll talk about that a little later. Great pickup. Great pickup for them. I think Goga Batadze always plays hard, so I definitely don't not like the deal they did, the 3 year, 25 million. I think that's fine. Do I think that makes them a championship contender? No, but like I think it's a fine contract. Jason Tatum signed his max extension. We all expected that. He just won the championship, so that's not really breaking news. We just were waiting for when it was going to happen, and it happened now. So he got his 315. They also extended Derek White, which I'm sure will be on this list. That team, like their top six, their six players: Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown, Porzingis, Drew Holiday, and Derek White are all under contract now because they extended all of them. Porzingis, Derek White, like I just said, and then Drew Holiday they did earlier in the year. They're all under contract for at least 3 more years. So they're top six. They don't have to worry. It's 7, 8, 9, 10. Then they gotta figure out from there. But their top six, they have them all under contract, so they're good there. Klay Thompson to join the Mavericks after signing trade with the Warriors. Now, again, I just posted a video on that on my channel, so you gotta watch that video because I give my in-depth, reaction, analysis, and stuff like that. So I will obviously talk about it here as well a bit because it's like one of the biggest news of the day. I'm still shocked. I can't believe that Klay Thompson is not going to be on the Warriors anymore. I can't believe it. I just can't picture Klay Thompson anywhere else except for the Warriors. And something that I said in the video that, I said was that players do stay on a team for a while and then sometimes leave. And so it's always I can't picture them in a New Jersey and stuff like that. And so, I'm not saying that's a brand new concept. But to me, it wasn't just that Klay Thompson, left the team that he was with for a while. Because, I didn't even have an issue seeing him in a New Jersey. To me, it's just they were a dynasty. They are a dynasty, the Warriors. It's Steph, Klay, and Draymond. They're the dynasty. So, to me, I don't know. I just couldn't see it because I just felt just everything they went through. I don't know. But, again, there was a money factor in there. The length of the contract was a factor. Maybe the role was a factor. Klay Thompson would have to come off the bench with the Warriors, most likely. I'm pretty sure on Dallas he's going to start. So again, watch my video to hear my in-depth analysis on the Klay Thompson deal. But I do think that the Warriors got a trade exception back. So it depends what they're going to do with that trade exception. They're trying to get Laurie Markkinen, maybe Brandon Ingram. So it's kind of incomplete right now because we have to see what they get back. Dallas is clearly trying to capitalize off going to the finals last year, and they are going all in and trying to win right now with Luka to make sure he's happy and he stays. So that's that. Oh, and then Josh Green, part of the deal, went to the Charlotte Hornets. D'Anthony Melton, Warriors. D'Anthony Melton, Warriors. Because I'm reading it the way they wrote the title. D'Anthony Melton went to the Warriors on a 1-year, $12.8 million contract. That is a stellar pickup. I don't know if I've talked about him much on this channel, but if you watch this page, I'm a fan of D'Anthony Melton. Again, I don't know how much I've said on this channel, but I've been a fan of his for a while. I think he's super underrated everywhere he goes. I think this is a great pickup for the Warriors. Great pickup. He's a really good defender. And last year he had, I believe he was having back issues, which is why he didn't play that much. So he was kind of injured. But if you remember him on the Grizzlies, there was a reason that when he was a free agent, a lot of teams wanted him because he is that good. It's just he was limited from injuries. So I think this is a great pickup for the Warriors. And then again, depending on what they do with the Klay Thompson trade exception, that remains to be seen. And they're obviously expecting Kuminga to take another step forward. They are banking on that because Kuminga took a step forward last year. So we'll see what happens. Let me read a couple of the comments. I see some comments here. Who are we talking about? KCP mentorship. Yes. We'll talk about KCP when he comes up on the list. Like I said, I'm reading a list, so he didn't come up yet because his deal was earlier. He didn't come up yet, but we will talk about KCP. OKC again, Hartenstein was an insane signing. Great pickup for OKC also. We will talk about that when his name comes up. But that was a good pickup as well. Let's see. Klay's what Dallas needs. Derek Jones got $50 million. No, Derek Jones Jr. got 3 years, 30 million, I believe. I'll double check that, but I'm pretty sure he got 3 years, 30 million. So when we get to him, I'll see what the numbers were. Aaron Holiday goes back to the Rockets, 2 years, 10 million. I honestly didn't even see this until I was looking at this article. So congratulations to him. I didn't know that he resigned. I didn't even know he was a free agent, to be completely honest. I don't know every single free agent, at the time. Obviously, there are tons of players in the league. But Aaron Holiday, I think that's a good deal. He did play well in the games that he did play for the Rockets, so I think that's a fine pickup or a fine re-signing rather. He always plays very hard, so you always want those type of players on your team. Derek White, we talked about a little bit. He extended. It was 4-year, 125. Good for Derek White. Honestly, Derek White is such a likable player. He always plays hard. He makes all the right plays. He's smart. He's a good defender. He's good. He's just like good at everything. Like, is he the best at anything? Like, is he the best shooter? No. He's a good shooter. But like, is he Steph Curry level shooter? No. Is he LeBron level power? No. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not like that, but he's good at everything and he does everything right and he deserves this money. He earned this money. I'm very happy for him. Very, very happy for him. Tobias Harris and the Pistons agree to a contract. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Tobias Harris was on the Pistons already. I'm pretty sure that's where he got his first big deal, like the first contract that he got that was really large. I think it was from the Pistons. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm like 99% positive it was. But Tobias Harris is 2-year, 52 million. He got a big contract. 2-year, 52 is 50 divided by 2 would be 25, so 26 per year. That's actually, and I'm not trying to count his money. Like, good for him. Like, get your money if you can. I'm not saying he shouldn't have signed this. I'm just saying, like, based on the way he played in Philly and whether it was fair or not, because like he didn't play up to the level that people expected him to play when he went to Philly. And some of that was obviously on him, and some of that, probably wasn't on him at all. So whether it was fair or not, the criticism of him in Philly, I thought because of the what's the word? The not the vibe, the I can't think of the word. Um Whatever. The way that people were thinking about him in terms of his play with the Sixers, I honestly didn't think he was going to get that big of a contract. Again, I'm not saying he shouldn't have. I'm not trying to count his money. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying based on the like evaluation of how he was playing in Philly, I thought I don't know, I didn't think he would get that big of a contract. I really didn't. But again, not saying he shouldn't get the money. Just saying like based on his value. I thought that a lot of teams would think his value went down a lot. Okay, we're on Isaiah Hartenstein. Someone said that earlier. We are up to Isaiah Hartenstein. Isaiah Hartenstein and the Thunder agreed to a contract, and it was 3 years, $87 million, leaving the Knicks. This was an amazing, amazing pickup for OKC. What a sad day for the Knicks because, I mean, they got Mikal Bridges and they did some good stuff. But that wasn't today, but I'm just saying. But losing Hartenstein, he was so good for the Knicks, so important. He did so many things well. Like, he is going to be missed. And OKC, man, that team is doing everything right now. They're doing everything right. They just picked up Caruso, by the way. So that gives them a good veteran who has won a championship, who can help coach up the young guys, good defender at the point guard position. And now they get Hartenstein. The area where let's say the Sixers, the area where OKC was lacking last year was at the center position. Chet was very good, in his minutes and in his rookie season technically. But they were pretty much dead last in rebounding, I believe. Well, Isaiah Hartenstein is a great rebounder, not just defensively, but offensively. He might end up with more offensive rebounds than defensive rebounds. And that's not even like a joke. So, great pickup. He got the bag. And I think I don't know him. I think he liked New York. I think he wanted to stay, but the difference in the money, and it was just because the Knicks literally physically could not offer him anymore. They couldn't. There was nothing they could do. So I feel like if the gap wasn't so big, he would have stayed. Like the Knicks, I believe, could offer him at the most 18 million per year. And if OKC offered him like 21 or something, I think he would have stayed. But he got like 29 per year. Like someone who was in the G League, who worked his way up, and I couldn't believe the Clippers let him go when the Knicks signed him a couple years ago. I couldn't believe it because he played so well in the Clippers. So like that was crazy to me. But regardless, this is his first big payday. He earned it, and I don't think he could pass up this money because it was he definitely deserved this. So great for OKC. Watch out in the West for OKC because they are stacking themselves. They are stacking themselves. See a couple of these comments. Doo, 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 doo. As a Knicks fan, I am hurt. I know Hartenstein was so important to the team, but you got Mikal Bridges. Like that's a huge pickup. And if Mitchell Robinson is healthy, like he is one of the best offensive rebounders in the league as well. It was just that he got hurt. That was the problem. Yeah, OKC since three starters. Just reading comments. Good deal. He's proven to be worth it. I think I don't know if you guys are talking about Isaiah Hartenstein, but yes, I think the contract was worth it. We are up to Paul George, everybody. Okay, Paul George is going to the 76ers. This is crazy. This is crazy. I wasn't shocked. I had a feeling he was going to the Sixers. Well, once he opted out, the Warriors were basically out of the race. So, like, because we heard apparently that Paul George wanted to go to the Warriors. Like, he was interested, he was down to go. But the Clippers didn't want to take back certain salaries because of the new CBA and financial constraints, and they were concerned and whatever. So, because of that, the Clippers killed the deal. That's basically what has been reported. Is that 100% facts? Who knows? But apparently the Clippers killed the deal. So the Warriors actually could have had Paul George. Like we could have been talking about Paul George on the Warriors right now, which would be crazy. But when he opted out, it was obvious that it was either the Clippers or the Sixers because the Sixers are the only one who had money. Well, the Magic too, but I didn't think that was going to happen. And because the Clippers seemed to be so adamant on not giving him the fourth year, I was like, he's going to Philly. Like, because I know Philly was going to pay him the max. Like, I know they were going to because they got Embiid. They got to win now. Maxey just got his big contract. Congrats to him. He earned that too. So it wasn't a shock just because I mentally thought it was going to happen. But it's still crazy that Paul George is on the Sixers. And that's a perfect pickup for them. Now, the health part is obviously always the concern. Paul George was healthy last year, but the last few years he's had some injuries and it has, cost him time, even some playoff games. I'm pretty sure he missed some playoff games. Yeah, because I think not this past year, but the year before he had that shoulder. Did he tear his rotator cuff or something? Something with his shoulder, I remember. And so Embiid is someone that unfortunately has had a very injury prone history. So the concern for them is like health. Of course, that's the concern. On paper, it works. You got a big man in Embiid who's dominant at the center position. You got a point guard in Maxey who is great, fast, fun. He's fun to watch. But he's a really good player. And then Paul George. a wing, a two-way wing. He could shoot the ball. He can do everything. He has been an all-star multiple times. He is literally like the prototypical 6'8", 6'9" wing player you want. And so they don't have anybody who overlaps. Like Harden and Maxey didn't necessarily overlap. Like Maxey is more of a scorer than a passer. You know what I mean? Like he can pass, but like he's more of a score first player. But they had a bit of overlapping and like it wasn't a bad fit. Like they made it work. But you saw when Harden left, Maxey went crazy. So like there is no overlap now with those three players. Like it's going to be a perfect fit in my opinion in terms of like the style of play, and I just think it works. It makes sense. They re-signed Kelly Oubre. We'll talk about him in a bit. They picked up Drummond. We'll also talk about that in a second. Like they are filling out the roster nicely. It's just health. And you could say that about every team every year, but this is one team where like it seems to happen every year with Joel and Paul George recently as well. So if they can stay healthy, they could definitely make some noise. So that's for sure. Maxey agrees to new contract for 5 years, 204 million. Well deserved, well earned. Definitely earned that contract. Good for Maxey. DeLon Wright to the Bucks. Now, if you watch this page, you know I'm a fan of DeLon Wright. I have always said every time I talk about him that he is so underrated. Like everywhere he goes, he plays well and he does good things. And like he just never gets like he basically has played for a bunch of teams now at this point. And I don't even get why. Like I have no idea why. He plays good defense. He's like when he was on the Wizards, he could have been an all NBA defender had he not gotten injured. He like when he starts, look at his statistics when he starts. I swear it's like he was getting 28 and 8. Like maybe I'm exaggerating, but the point is like he does so many good things. I don't get why teams are not re-signing him when they have him. Like he's a Miami Heat type of player too. And they didn't re-sign him. I have no idea why. No clue. So this is a great pickup for the Bucks. Like awesome pickup. I think this is really perfect. Luca Garza and the Timberwolves agreed to a contract, 2-year contract. Congratulations to him. Drew Eubanks and the Jazz agreed to a contract, 2 years, $10 million. I was a little surprised. Like, are the Jazz? What are the Jazz doing? Like, what? Because it's not about Drew Eubanks. It's fine. His contract is fine, but they just drafted Filipowski, the center. Now, I did say in the video that it makes sense to take a chance on him because he was falling in the draft, so it could be low risk, high reward, right? Because they had already gotten Isaiah Collier, and they had gotten who did they get before that? I can't remember. Someone else who was good. Oh, they got Cody Williams. That's what they got. So they got a wing, they got a guard, so it makes sense to take a big man, right? But you have Walker Kessler, like I was saying, who has played so well in the minutes that he has played, and he's looking like a really good NBA player. So not only did you just draft another center, but now you're bringing in another center. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out because because I heard someone say that they're thinking about trading Walker Kessler. Like someone had said that somewhere. Like if that's true, I don't get why they would do that. He's literally only like 21, maybe. He's only been in the league 2 years. And he's been really good. Like I don't understand. Like I'm not sure I don't know what they're doing. Like I don't know, honestly. I don't know if they're trying to rebuild. I don't know if they're trying to build around Laurie. Because there was a report that earlier today that they were trying to get Trae Young. So that means they're trying to win now with Lauri Markkanen, but they're also open to listening to Lauri Markkanen trade offers. I just don't know what they're doing, so I I don't know if that's a good deal or not. Like, good for Drew Eubanks, get his bag. I don't know if that's a good deal for the Jazz because I have no idea what direction they're going in. Um, Jalen Smith and the Bulls agreed to a 3-year, 27 million. Good for him. That's a good contract for him. And the Bulls are kind of rebuilding, so this is honestly Jalen Smith is kind of like a Bulls type player, to be honest. He just seems like someone who would play on the Chicago Bulls. So that's a fine contract. Um, Aaron Wiggins agrees to a new contract, 5-year, 47 million. I think that's a good contract for him as well. Congrats to him. The Thunder basically just Thunder basically just sorry. So some kind of dust bunny was going in my throat. Anyway, that'll be fun for people watching on playback. Just seeing me like freak out for a second. Um, 5-year, 47 million. I think that's a really good deal. I think that's a good contract for him. 5-year, 47. That's how much per year? 5-year, 50 would be 10, so a little less than 10. It's a good deal for him, honestly. Um, Justin Minaya, Blazers agreed to a contract, two-way contract. Good for him. Isaiah Joe back to the Thunder, 4-year, 48 million. Good for him. Good contract. Was very good last year. Kelly Oubre resigns with the Sixers. I said we would talk about that. 2-year, 16 million. That's a great re-signing for them because he was very good last year, like very good, like really, really good for the Sixers. So if he's going to play like that again, it's a good thing they brought him back. Derrick Jones Jr. to the Clippers. He got 3-year, 30 million. So whoever said 50 million before, that's what I was talking about. He got 30 million. Good for Derrick Jones Jr. He earned that contract. This is not great for Dallas, in my opinion. Not great. Losing Derrick Jones Jr., he was one of their best defenders. He was really important to that team. So, like, honestly, this was a pretty big hit, in my opinion. But good for the Clippers. But will Kawhi be healthy is the question. They still have a ton of talent on the team. They re-signed Harden. He'll probably come up in a little bit. But this was a good deal for the Clippers because Derrick Jones Jr. is a really good defender. Najee Marshall and the Mavs agreed to a contract, 3 years, 27 million. Good for him. I like him. Like I'm a fan of his. I think he's a good player. I liked him on the Pelicans. It's just the Pelicans. The issue with the Pelicans is they have so many talented players that like some of them can't get in the rotation because they have so many good players. So Najee Marshall was one of them where he would be in sometimes and sometimes he couldn't get in. And so I'm happy for him. He earned this contract. I think this was a good pickup for Dallas. He always plays hard. He plays super hard. So good deal for the Dallas Mavericks. Mason Plumlee goes to the Suns. It is a 1-year, 3.3 million. This is a great pickup for the Suns. Mason Plumlee is one of the best passing big men in the league. Like nowadays, big men pass in the league. Like we see Jokic. We see that's more of a skill set that's more frequently had by centers nowadays. So maybe Mason Plumlee isn't at the top of the list at doing that in the league now with all the talent that these centers are coming in with. But Mason Plumlee has been doing this. Like when he was with Portland, he was a passing big man. Like so he has that ability. He's just overall a good player, plays hard. And I just think this is a good pickup for the Suns. Valanciunas and the Wizards agreed to a contract, 3-year, 30 million. I think for the Wizards, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Valanciunas at all. I think Valanciunas is a good player. I think people forget how good he was on the Raptors. Like he always had impact. But I think for the Wizards, they are just kind of trying to spend money, if that makes sense. Like you have to spend a certain amount of your cap, a certain amount of the, money that is I guess, given to you, or like the money that like they say like this is the cap. You have to spend a certain amount. So I don't know what their numbers are at, but I'm assuming they might be a little bit under. Because like Valanciunas is a win now player. That's why I'm saying that. Like not because he got this contract. It's not that the money is like something crazy. It's just because the Wizards are not winning right now. So I think they just, needed to spend some more money, basically. Yeah, not it's not about Valanciunas' play or anything like that. It's just he's a win now player. This situation is not win now. So Andre Drummond is signing with the 76ers. This is a really good pickup as well. I think this is a perfect backup to Joel Embiid. Is Andre Drummond the same as he was when he was literally dominating the glass? Like Andre Drummond was getting like 14 rebounds a game, averaging that. He was crushing people on the glass. So he's not that player anymore, but he can definitely give them relief when Joel Embiid is on the bench. Because when Joel Embiid was on the bench last year, they suffered. Like the numbers show it. They really suffered when Joel Embiid was out. And maybe it'll be different now because Paul George is there. But this is definitely a perfect backup center. Did Paul Reed, did he get an extension during the year? I'm trying to remember because he's not a free agent. I don't think, at least. I think he got an extension during the year. I feel like it was like 44 million. I don't know. Maybe I made that up. Maybe I made that up. But for Paul Reed, I like Paul Reed. I think he's a good backup center. I think he always plays well. But now with Drummond there, he's not going to get a lot of playing time. So are they going to trade him? I don't know. So be on the lookout for that because maybe he'll be traded. I don't know. Chris Paul signs a 1 year, 11 million with the Spurs. It was likely, in my opinion, that he was going to go to the Spurs last year if he didn't go to the Warriors. So like, I wasn't shocked when the Warriors ended up waiving him. I was not shocked that he went to the Spurs. It makes 100%. It makes sense 100%. Chris Paul's pass first point guard. It is a team friendly deal. It's a 1 year deal. So if they, for some reason, traded him at the deadline, there are plenty of teams that will take that contract, especially because it's a 1 year deal. But even if they want to keep him, like that's the perfect point guard for Wemby. Perfect point guard for Wemby. Pass first, just get him the ball as much as he can. So like that I think that's perfect. Eric Gordon is signing with the Sixers. Another pickup for them. They're just filling out the roster, like I said. So like this is great for them. KCP is signing with the Magic. I said we would get to this in a minute. This is a 3 year, $66 million deal. The Magic needed scoring and shooting. That is what they were lacking. So this is perfect. That's 3 years, 66. That makes it 22 per year. So it's a good deal for KCP too. He's getting his bag. I thought this made sense. I was thinking about it maybe like a week ago or so. And I was like, KCP to the Magic just makes sense. I also said, I made a video when I was talking about free agents. And I was saying, when I was talking about Gary Trent, I thought Gary Trent, who's still a free agent, by the way, I just realized is still a free agent. So watch out, he's going to go somewhere. I thought him to the Magic made sense because he's not the defender that KCP is, but similar shooting guard style of play, you know what I mean? So I thought KCP also made sense, so they did it. I think that's a great pickup for them. KCP is a champion, a winner. That is someone you want to bring to the Magic. Kevin Porter Jr. is signing with the Clippers. He is back in the league, a 2 year deal. Good for him, Andre Drummond. Did this come up twice? How, I don't know why it's on here twice. I knew I just talked about, I was like, I just talked about Andre Drummond. Man, I always forget how to pronounce his first and last name. It's Keita. Pretty sure it's Keita. He's going to remain with the Celtics. I don't want to butcher his first name. I'm pretty sure his last name is Kada. Good for him. He is staying on a multi-year contract. Omar Yard 7 was waived by the Jazz, so not good for him. Sorry. He's an unrestricted free agent. Kevin Love resigns with the Heat. No surprise there. 2-year, $8 million. We know what Kevin Love is. Luke Cornett returned to the Celtics. Not really a surprise either. Just, good for him. James Harden's remained with the Clippers, like I said, 2-year, $70 million. I was shocked when this deal happened. Immediately, I'm like, okay, well, that means Paul George is leaving. I knew when they signed him 2 years, 70, Paul George was leaving. There was no way Paul George was staying because the Clippers are talking about they can't pay because of the new CBA. I'm not saying that's their fault. I'm just saying, so once I saw they gave Harden that much money, I'm like, no way, Paul George is staying. I would be shocked if Paul George stayed. So that is also why I wasn't shocked when Paul George left, because I was like, there's no way. I was really surprised that James Harden got that much money. Again, I'm not counting someone's bag. I'm not telling someone they should not get that money. That's not what I'm saying. Just making that clear. Again, I'm just going based off the value that the perception in the league and stuff like that. I don't know that James Harden was going to get that kind of money anywhere else. I don't know. Maybe he had other offers. I have no idea. I didn't think he was going to crack 30 million. I thought he was going to end up with 15 million, if I'm being completely honest. I'm not saying that his level of play warrants 15 million. I'm not saying that. His level of play may warrant 30 million. I'm not saying anything about it. I'm just saying I thought the perception of James Harden was going to be lower than this. Fair or not, that's just what I thought. Again, not counting somebody's money, but good for him. 2-year, 2-year, 70 million, 35 million per year. That's a bag. That is a bag. A player option for year 2. Also, by the way, Chris Paul waived by the Warriors. Well, it's kind of irrelevant because we already talked about it. Max Christie to stay with the Lakers, a 4-year, $32 million. I thought that was a great contract for him. Great contract. Obi Toppin stays with the Pacers. Good for him. 4-year, $60 million. That is a good contract for him, especially given the way it ended in New York. If he had still been in New York, he wouldn't have gotten that contract because they didn't. He wasn't in the rotation enough. He would not have gotten that money. So him going to the Pacers was one of the best things for him financially because now he got a bag. So good for him. Let me read a couple of these comments. Lakers need a true center. Gary Trent to the Lakers would make sense. I think so too. And Gary Trent, I could see taking the mid-level exception, but is LeBron going to take less money for Gary Trent Jr.? I feel like he's only, and that's nothing against Gary Trent, but he's only interested in taking less money for someone they were saying, Klay Thompson, James Harden, maybe DeRozan. DeRozan is still free. But I don't know if he would take less money for Gary Trent because I don't know if that puts them over the edge, so. Paul Reed has no guaranteed money. Oh, let me look that up a little later because I don't remember what his contract situation is. Alex Len resigns with the Kings, 1 year, $3.3 million. Good for him. Royce O'Neal resigns with the Suns. He got a good contract, 4-year, 44. It's good for him. And I think it's a good re-sign for the Suns. He's a good player. The Hawks trading DeJounte Murray to the Pelicans. I already made a video on this, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. But I think this is a great pickup for the Pelicans. And for the Hawks, I just need to know what direction they're going. Are we still building around Trae Young, or are we rebuilding? I don't know. Great for Pelicans, though. Nick Claxton resigns with the Nets. 4-year, 100 million. This is a perfect, re-signing. Claxton has been very good. He's improved every year. He deserved this contract. So nothing crazy. I agree. Emmanuel quickly signs the deal to stay with the Raptors. Good for him. 5-year, 175. He got the bag. Good for him. Because with the Knicks, again, he was not going to get that money. I think they were trying to, I don't know 100%, but I think they were trying to offer him like 90 million. I think that's part of, I don't know, but I think that's part of why he was traded because there was kind of like, they, they, they were not on the same page with the money. And so they didn't want to lose him in free agency either. And then OG just happened to be available as well. So it was kind of like maybe just a coincidence, maybe not, but he got the bag. Good for him. He earned that. He really did earn that money. Um, the Mavericks and the Pistons swapped Tim Hardaway Jr. and Quentin Grimes. Yeah, it was more like a salary dump for Dallas because they were trying to get Klay Thompson and other stuff. So, um, I mean, I don't know who that's. I guess it's a good trade for Dallas because they obviously, got Klay Thompson. But yeah. Oh, that was the last one. Didn't something else happen? That was the first deal. I don't remember that being the first deal. Maybe it was. Maybe I'm wrong. But that is all the free agency moves so far. Like I said, we still have Gary Trent out there. We still have DeRozan. We still have, well, LeBron technically, but we'll figure out what I think LeBron's staying. But who else is a free agent? I'm trying to think. Who else is free? Those are two of like the biggest names still, DeRozan and Gary Trent Jr. I can't think of anybody else off the top of my head because I just went through a lot of names. But yeah, that's free agency so far. It's been exciting. Um, I'm excited to see what happens next. I'm excited to see how all these teams fill out the rosters. And I don't know. It's gonna be really interesting next year. There's a lot of changes that happened. And again, there's a few teams, Jazz, Hawks, what direction are you going in? I don't know. Brandon Ingram is another person who is maybe on the move. We don't know yet. We haven't seen what's going to happen with Brandon Ingram. So he's someone to look out for. Like I said, Laurie Markkinen teams are calling. The Cavs were rumored to potentially be trading everybody, and then they haven't done anything, and they potentially will trade nobody. So I'm not really sure. Maybe look out for the Cavs. Something might happen there. And then, yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. And hello to everybody watching on playback. Yeah. So we'll talk more about free agency moves as they come along. If there's another big one. Because if Brandon Ingram gets moved or Laurie Markkinen, I'll obviously make a video on that. So thank you guys for joining. I hope you enjoyed and see you soon. Bye.